et en RDC. Soyons connectés avec l'excellente musique congolaise. Suivons des moments de joie et d'amour avec les fêtes de mariage et d'anniversaire. Nourrissons notre foi en Dieu avec les services de prière et de culte. Suivons l'histoire du Congo et les documentaires des Congolais. Soyons connectés sur les actualités des filles et des fils du pays partout dans le monde. Découvrons des émissions de qualité, partageons notre savoir. Nous sommes à votre disposition pour vos émissions directes de notre studio, dans vos églises ou même dans vos maisons. Appelez-nous, contactez-nous sur WhatsApp. Boss Prophets TV, tout le monde en parle.
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marlene Mayele, as most of you know, because you always watch this program, same time, same day, which is always Mondays, 6 to 7 on the Boss Brothers platform. Today we are talking about the struggle of addiction and depression. Last week I sat here and I spoke to you guys about the impact of mental health on gang violence and what it is that we should or can do in order to reduce such act. The previous week we spoke about how bullying led to a young girl aged 15 years old wanting to take her life within depression. And as I said, today we are talking about the struggle of addiction and depression. I'm gonna actually just give you some key factors from research that I did from NHS UK. If you have an addiction, you're not alone, because according to the charity action in London, in the United Kingdom, 3 in 1 people are addicted to something. You're probably thinking, what is it? What can you be addicted to? What is an addiction? For me, I can define addiction as when you like something or when you do something but more than you should. You do it too much. Anything that we do physically, spiritually, mentally, too many times is not good for us. Perhaps you like shopping and you just shop too much and then you get that guilty conscience, the shame, or you do it for that buzz. Perhaps you like drinking and you just overdrink. Perhaps it's gambling. Perhaps, as we have these days now, the addiction of social media, the addiction of the internet. As the years are going, time is changing, internet is changing, things are increasing. Addiction is defined as not having control over what you're doing or taking or using something to the point where you can actually harm yourself or where it becomes very harmful to you. Addiction is most commonly associated with, like I said, gambling, drugs, alcohol, shopping. Some people could be addicted to work. There's so many ways which someone can be addicted. But today, the struggle of addiction leads into depression. We are going to speak to a lady who's going to tell us how and why she found herself into that position, how it led to divorce within her marriage, and how she came out of that depression. We'll be back very soon.
Boss Prophets TV désormais sur satellite et en RDC. Soyons connectés avec l'excellente musique congolaise. Suivons des moments de joie et d'amour avec les fêtes de mariage et d'anniversaire. Nourrissons notre foi en Dieu avec les services de prière et de culte. Suivons l'histoire du Congo et les documentaires des Congolais.
Hello, thank you very much. Just a quick interruption there, so I had to take a quick break. But I'm going to carry on explaining to you the few things of addiction. What causes it for you to be addicted? For you to be addicted to something is literally, I give you the fine example that I gave before. In the case of drugs, alcohol, it's the physical and mental impact of it. the feel that you get for enjoying what you do, that powerful urge of you wanting to do it again and again and again. The same for shopping. Some people just really into shopping a little too much, and they just want to fill their wardrobe with things like branded stuff, like grief. You don't even wear it, you just have the urge to get it, for it to just be there, for you to get that buzz. Another thing is when you can have a crave. Some people can be addicted to things when it comes to food. They always get that craving and they just want to do it continuously. It becomes an ongoing circle. Because when they don't have it, they feel unpleasant. It's easier for you when you are addicted to something to carry on having it than it is for you to stop. It's not a good thing. Another thing we would say is, how can having an addiction affect you? The strain of having to manage the fact that you're addicted to something alone can be quite stressful. It can be damaging your work life, your social life, your relationship life, for both families and partners and friendships. Physically, it will definitely affect you. If it's like gambling, for example, you're going to physically be drained. So it's a very serious thing. Someone may think, yeah, but I like staying up late, like every night, and playing games on the computer, or it's a social media. I just love being on the net. I love being on the net, or I love shopping, or I love eating. I love this. We all have things that we like to do. But when you do it more than just often, too many times, ongoing, becomes a pattern, you're addicted to it. You need to seek help. Alcohol, for example, and drugs is a prime example as well. When you're addicted to alcohol, you will consume and consume and consume, and you will keep on consuming. To you're just probably feeling like you're taking water. The impact of it is that you're constantly probably drunk, constantly probably smelling of alcohol in each and every environment that you go to. You start to depend on the alcohol before you step out of your house, before you go to work, before you do anything. You become so dependent on it that at some point you will no longer be in control. The alcohol will be in control of you. The drugs will be in control of you. And you'll probably tell yourself, I got this, I'm in control. I'm the one who's drinking this. I'm the one who decides when I take the weed or the cocaine. But you'll find that at some point, it's taken over you. You're no longer in control. You're an addict. You're addicted. You have an addiction. You need to seek help. Sometimes when someone is within unemployment, or when someone is in a poverty, along with stress and emotional and physical pressure, they can find themselves becoming an addict. They want to do something, like I said before, to get that buzz, to feel free, to get that powerful feel. And when you get that feel, you want it again and again. Sometimes they just want to feel like they've escaped from what it is that they're going through. But the reality of it is, you can drink all you want, you can take all the drugs all you want, you can escape for that very moment. But when that feel, that buzz, that powerful moment is gone, reality kicks back in. So you're better off actually trying to deal with the issue or the problem instead of becoming an addict. Because then in the process of you going into rehab and having to give up on what it is that you are doing, it's much longer than it is solving the problem. Getting help. You can definitely get help. For anyone out there who is watching this, you are addicted to something, and you know that you're addicted to something, It's a treatable condition. Whatever the addiction is, there are ways which you can seek help. You can see a GP for advice. You can see a therapist, counselor. If you want to sit down and speak about it, there's many organizations, there's specialists that can actually help you. You can also just go online and type what it is that you want to type, what it is that you're probably dealing with. Perhaps it's a drug addiction, perhaps it's alcohol, perhaps it's smoking, perhaps it's gambling, perhaps it's work, perhaps it's social media, internet, perhaps it's shopping, perhaps it's food. There's so many things. You can also speak to someone anonymously online. Towards the end of the show, I will give you numbers that you can call, free numbers that you can call to speak to someone. And also I will show you website links that you can use to speak to someone, to seek free NHS GP advice. No one is going to go and out who you are and expose what it is that you're doing, but they're actually going to be able to help you. If you're a married man in a family household, you have a wife and children, and you become addicted to alcohol to the point that you become an abusive husband at times, to the point that you lead your marriage to a point where it no longer exists, to a point where being married is no longer something that your wife wants to carry on with. Being married is no longer fun. Being married is no longer somewhere where she wants to be, because you are destroying your marriage because you are addicted to something, perhaps alcohol, and that is not a good thing. And when you do find yourself to the point where your wife wants divorce, or you're getting divorced because you are addicted to alcohol, because you are addicted to drugs, and you become an abusive husband, your children will be affected by this. If those children are in school, you may see that their attendance, punctuality, the way they work in school, their grades, so many things will change. We tend to fail to understand that some of the things around us, especially within our family household, the parents tend to have a very, very big role in it. And if you as a father, you're addicted to alcohol, and you later become an abusive husband, you're destroying your household. There's so many people who say, I'm just having a drink, just one or two, and hey, that'll be all right. But the thing is, that one or two will lead to 3 or 4, to 5 or 6, to 7, 8, 9, 10, and many more. You have a pattern. You drink in the morning. Every morning, that tea or that coffee now became beer. Every evening. Or it's just a glass of wine. But it's a pattern. There are many people who like to drink socially. There's no harm in that. There are many people who like to have a drink in the evening after dinner, or in the evening while catching up on some TV. There is no harm in that. The harm becomes when it is something that you do over and over. It's like a circle, it's ongoing, and to the point where you are physically no longer in control. Emotionally, you're a wreck. You're damaging yourself. To be an addict is something that I don't think I would like to experience. It's something that can be treated. Many people tend to go to rehab. But that would only be if you're really, really deep into the situation. So don't allow yourself to get so deep into the situation. And the struggle of it is, while you're dealing with that, you're probably not yourself. You're probably not aware of everything that you're doing to yourself and how much you're really damaging yourself. And then so slowly falling into that mental health zone. because you're withdrawing away from contact. When you're addicted to something, when it affects you, sometimes it does affect those around you, like your social life, your relationship, like I said earlier. So the people around you are not really receiving the best of you because you're too cooped up into your own little corner with your drink or your drug or your internet shopping or your gambling. Or just be here a few hours on the net, here and there, and then you are there 24/7. Take a break. Have a Kit Kat, you know, do something. I'm sure there's many things that you can actually do in life rather than just constantly doing what it is that you're doing that you know is not good for you. Someone's probably watching this and thinking, that sounds like something that I do. If it's something that you don't do constantly and you take breaks from it and you only do it socially, you're fine. But if it's something that you are no longer in control of, you don't know when to stop, and it's really taking the best of you and it's really draining you, it's making you antisocial, and you are not in control, you need to seek help. Go to your GP, speak to your GP, and tell your GP, ma'am, sir, I think I have an addiction. I think I'm addicted to something. I think I'm an addict. I think I'm this. I need help. And I'm sure they'll be willing to help you. The help is completely free. NHS is there in this country to help you. Go ahead and seek the help that you need. Another thing that I would like to point out for the younger children. You probably think, don't get me wrong, I have social media platforms. I use them. I like them. But I only like them and I only use them. I don't use them to a point where I'm not me anymore. I don't use them to a point where I'm philandering or like creating things that I know is non-existent within my life. That's when you are no longer in control. You've become an addict to social media. You're having to create things that is not real. You're just philandering within the social media platforms. And you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to post today, I'm going to post tomorrow, I'm going to be there, I'm just going to be here for a few minutes, I'm just going to be there. And you are on there 24 hours. You've become hooked to the social media. Like I said, as the years are changing, as the time is going by, technology is growing, everything is increasing, and the internet speed alone itself is also increasing, and the internet addicts are also increasing. The games as well. Many people are addicted to sitting there and playing games online. Like I said, worry not. If it's something that you do socially, you're safe. But if you know you don't do it socially, it actually takes you away from your social life. It actually takes you away from your work life. You need to seek help. Because it's no longer correct. You are no longer in control. It is in control of you. Physically, emotionally, you are no longer in control. You will feel drained. You try taking something that you do, doing it over and over and over and over, ongoing, every day, same timing, and you will tell me, Marlene, you know what? Girl, use this right. I feel drained. It's not a good thing, and it's not a good place or a safe place to be at, because when you do find yourself in rehab, they'll probably, like, in order to treat you, end up giving you pills, so many different things that they end up giving to you in order to treat what it is that you're going through. Whereas you can self-help yourself. You can take yourself out of that problem, out of that zone. You can be in control and reduce what you do. If it's just smoking, stop smoking. Reduce it to 1 a day, 2 a day. Just reduce it. And like I said before, if it's drugs that you're dealing with, alcohol that you're dealing with, there is also smoking services in order to help those who are addicted to such things. For now, I'm going to take a break and I'll be back.
5 in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her waist smooth. Follow the flow, you know I got it though. Baby, why you hiding? Don't be shy, I know you like it. Don't be shy, I know you got it. Don't be shy, I know you want it. So baby, we can do it all tonight. Let me press up on it now. We can do it all.
Boss Province TV désormais sur satellite et en RDC. Soyons connectés avec l'excellente musique congolaise. Suivant des moments de joie et d'amour avec les fêtes de mariage et d'anniversaire. Nourrissons notre foi en Dieu avec les services de prière et de culte. Suivons l'histoire du Congo et les documentaires des Congolais. Soyons connectés sur les actualités des filles et des fils du pays partout dans le monde. Découvrons des émissions de qualité, partageons notre savoir. Nous sommes à votre disposition pour vos émissions directes de notre studio, dans vos studios, dans vos églises ou même dans vos maisons. Appelez-nous, contactez-nous sur WhatsApp. Boss Province TV, tout le monde en parle.
Five in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her waist smooth. Follow the flow, you know I got it though. Baby, why you hiding? Don't be shy, I know you like it. Don't be shy, I know you got it. Don't be shy, I know you want it. So baby, we can do it all tonight. Let me press up on it now. We can do it all.
Boss Province TV désormais sur satellite et en RDC. Soyons connectés avec l'excellente musique congolaise. suivant des moments de joie et d'amour avec les fêtes de mariage et d'anniversaire. Nourrissons notre foi en Dieu avec les services de prière et de culte. Suivons l'histoire du Congo et les documentaires des Congolais. Soyons connectés sur les actualités des filles et des fils du pays partout dans le monde. Découvrons des émissions de qualité, partageons notre savoir. Nous sommes à votre disposition pour vos émissions directes de notre studio, dans vos studios, dans vos églises ou même dans vos maisons. Appelez-nous, contactez-nous sur WhatsApp. Boss Prophets TV, tout le monde en parle.
5 in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her way is smooth. Follow the flow, you know I got it though. Baby, why you hiding? Don't be shy, I know you like it. Don't be shy, I know you got it. Don't be shy, I know you want it. So baby, we can do it all tonight. Let me press upon it now. We can do it all.
Hi, I'm back, and sorry about the long break. Had to do something here, and it's finally sorted. But I'm back to talk to you about what we were speaking about before. And as I said before, today's topic is the struggle of addiction and depression. And our guest is here. I explained to you what addiction is. If you're an addict, if you need help, there's so many ways that you could be dealing with this. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be shopping, it could be food, it could be gambling, it could be work, it could be the social media platform. But we're going to speak to her, and she's going to tell us how she dealt with this, how it went into an abusive relationship, how she found herself into depression, and how she came out of it. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Thank you, first of all, for having me here.
No problem.
My name is Varsha Hati, and I was married for 18 years to an alcoholic.
Married for 18 years to an alcoholic.
18 years.
So he was addicted to alcohol.
When I got married to him, he was drinking, he was on the borderline. I hadn't recognized that, but yeah, he went into it pretty downhill after that.
If you could just take us back to before the marriage and when you got married, was it something that just happened or it just picked up?
When I got married to him, I was originally from Kenya.
Okay.
And we dated for a few months, and I did question it because in Kenya we don't drink a lot socially even. And he said this is England and drinking every day is fine, normally 2 it's okay. And then within 3 months we got married, and I realized it wasn't 3, it was about 8 that I knew of.
So what triggered
8 cans?
What
that I knew of.
triggered the drinking? Was it just the move from Kenya to England, or something else happened in his life?
Yeah, what happened in his life much later, which he didn't tell me, but I realized that he had come from Uganda with the Idi Amin thing and everything happening, and he'd seen death. lots of people being killed.
So it's a trauma.
It's a trauma.
Okay.
And addiction is always triggered by something in your life, whether it's trauma, whether it's abuse, something triggers it, or it could be genetic.
Okay.
You could have it in the family and then it just runs or skips generations.
Someone in the family used to do it and then you...
And then when they came here, they were living with other families who were not giving them enough food. They would eat but not give them food, poverty.
Yeah.
And he struggled, and then his dad was in a camp for 1 year. So he struggled with all that, and then his dad was always wanting things from him.
Okay.
So he was just looking for love. Always do this for us, and always under pressure to do things for everybody but himself.
Okay.
So when I met him, even his clothes were very limited, everything was limited, and when he got married, he was just happy to just go and buy whatever clothes we could buy, go on holiday, and
so you were like the God sent
the sunshine in his life. Yeah, absolutely. And we had a good marriage. We had a very good marriage, and then my elder one was born, and obviously your attention then divides into some bits to him, some to
bits
her,
to the child. Yeah.
And because now he was left deficient of that attention that was 100% his, he then went back into alcohol, and then after that it just started going further up, increasing, and he slowly started reducing eating. And then friends obviously noticed that he's reducing in weight. I've not even picked up on that. And then by the time people mentioned the word alcoholic, I didn't even know the meaning, what it is to be an alcoholic. I just knew he drinks. And he started getting abusive to relatives, friends, and people started moving away from us.
Abusive physically or just verbally?
Verbally, he'd use a lot of swear words, and he's always picking on arguments when family would come round or when we'd go to families' houses. He would be very verbally abusive. And slowly we started realizing people are moving away from us. Nobody wanted to be in touch with us. I hadn't told my friends any of this. I was in denial myself.
You were in denial of the situation?
I was in denial that my husband was an alcoholic, because I myself didn't know the meaning of an alcoholic. I said, no, he's just having a drinking.
Just having one or two,
and he's not. And then I started finding cans in the children's cars, in the garden.
So he now started to drink to the point where he's hiding everywhere, in the car booth. Or what are all these cans? Or these are for my friends. I've just bought extra for my friends and whatnot. So they always have an excuse ready, and they always have extra where they've hidden, so they never run dry of drinking. So when you're drinking not socially, and you're drinking alone at home, it is something to be aware of, that you're leading towards something which is not great, and you could lead to that fine line of enjoying the drink and going into addiction. Yes. So the fine line he just passed over, and it became a major addiction. And when I did address it with him, that you're now becoming an alcoholic, when his uncle had also passed away with kidney failure, and it's a genetic thing. So the loss of a loved one as well triggered that even more for him too.
Yeah. And the final crunch came when we had a little one born with lifelong medical problems. And that just tipped him over, with his mom passing away 4 months after my younger one was born. So that just tipped him over right to the end.
So would you say it also requires strength? Because someone else could go through all of that and not drink as much, but whereas someone else would go through that and then feel like they can't handle the situation, they need something to help them, like
it starts off by thinking that this is just, a drink is helping you forget your problems. That's how it starts off, because for that moment in time you do forget your problems. But when you come out of that sensation of the drink, the problem is always going to be there. The reality is always going to be there. So it's always good to be aware that when you're doing things to forget your problem, instead of addressing it, instead of running from them.
Addressing the problem.
Instead of
running away from the problem.
Absolutely. Because problems don't just go away. They're there. You need to just find solutions to them. It's very hard to find solutions to them. But there is always a solution. And when I did realize that he's gone into addiction, we've been through hypnotherapy, we've gone through private rehabs, we've been through AA meetings, but you can only help an addict if they want to be helped.
So you were willing to stay with your husband?
Oh yeah.
And you were actually helping your husband?
Yes.
But
Yes.
it didn't work.
It can only work. You feel as a partner that you can do everything in your power to help them, but it's never up to you. It's never up to the partner of an addict. It's always up to an addict that they want to help themselves. I think he done it under the pressure of me saying, I want to, you know, go for a divorce at that time. And he thought, oh my God.
At what point did you feel like, I no longer want to be part of this, I want to step out of this marriage, I want a divorce?
When he started getting verbally abusive at home, he was going to throw a remote control at me. He started physical. And when he started getting verbally abusive to my elder daughter, who was only about 5 years old,
abusive to a 5-year-old
verbally and emotionally abusive, saying you and your mom are causing all these problems, and he was being sick everywhere. He started even pooping in his pants, and that's when I started hitting my depression. That's when the depression kicked in, because I'm a very strong woman and I managed everything quite well. An alcoholic husband, a 5-year-old who needed emotional support, and a younger one who needed all the medical attention, because I had to go to Great Ormond Street a lot, quite a lot.
At the time?
Probably 1.5 years old.
So you're having to deal with an alcoholic of a husband,
yeah,
who is just now hitting nail to the point of becoming physical and verbally abusive.
Yes.
And yet still having to play the role of a mother to a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old who needs medical attention.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Not easy at all. And that's when depression started kicking in. And depression is something which is not something you should fear, that it's not something you bring onto yourself. Sometimes you blame yourself, that why am I depressed? What has caused this? It's a chemical disorder in your body where your brain is sort of saying, I cannot cope anymore with whatever's happening around me.
Yeah.
And it starts shutting down to sort of protect you.
Yeah.
But I think what I realized about depression is that if you recognize that there's something not right, that you're sort of starting to withdraw from social life, you get demotivated, your confidence levels go down, your self-esteem goes down, everything around you looks very black, and you start feeling low. You don't see any reason to get out of bed. Even for your kids, you don't see a reason to get out of bed. And even just making a cup of tea is such a huge struggle.
And you got to that point.
You get to that point. I got to that point, and I was struggling because financially he was creating problems. He was drinking, smoking every day. I had to try and hunt for money to just buy the bare minimums.
So that was like a strain onto you.
Strain onto me. Household strain, financial strain, looking after all this. And I started realizing, because I've had depression in my family, my dad being depressed, and I recognized the signs that I'm entering depression now.
So was he still working?
He was working. He was working.
He was still working in the condition that he was in?
Yes, he was still working in the condition, because he would cover with lots of mouth fresheners, and lots of alcoholics go to work, and you would not even know they're alcoholics because they have a very good way of covering themselves up. They always have excuses ready, way ahead of time.
Brushing the teeth
every time. And only as a partner, you would recognize that your partner has had drinks. Another person would not even know they've had a drink at lunchtime. And he would go and drink outside at lunchtime as well. He started drinking. He started sort of saying, I have meetings every day to attend. So certain things sort of triggered me to think something's not right in our relationship. Every day there's a meeting now. There's a leaving do every other day.
So he was creating false meetings and
false meetings,
leaving do's.
False leaving do's. So these are all things you need to look out for in partners.
Yeah.
But the other funny thing is you become codependent on your partner. So when they're drinking and they're coming home half an hour, 1 hour late, you're waiting, you're watching the clock and thinking, why is he not home?
Yes.
Is he drinking somewhere in the car, which is what he used to do? And even maybe if he hasn't done it, your habit becomes codependent of his addiction.
Okay.
And you need to heal yourself too, because now you are in a way addicted to his habit. And your habits become codependent to his habits.
It's like he's stringing you along while he's doing what it is that he's doing.
Yeah. So you need to heal yourself to be even able to support a person who's addicted and to help them out of this. You need to heal yourself first.
So when you arrived at the point that you mentioned depression,
Yeah.
how was it with the kids? Because a mother is like the strongest person that you need in the household. It's the warrior. You are the key to putting everything in place in the household.
Yes.
If you're not in place, you're not strong, you're not physically, emotionally able to stand up strong for yourself, whoever is behind you would also fall. So how did you cope with the kids?
So when I started recognizing the signs of depression, me not wanting to get out of bed, me not wanting to do things for my kids, even, you know, to the point of straining to even comb your hair, sometimes you just feel, I don't want to do this. And sometimes you could be in the house where you've moved a paper from one place to another and the whole day is gone and you've achieved nothing. I recognize those signs of depression because I've seen them in my family. And I knew there's something I need to do drastically different to get out of this, because I had 2 girls to support and bring up, and they look up to me to bring them up. My alcoholic husband, he's an adult, he had a choice of whatever he was doing.
To step out of it.
To step out of it. And that's when I thought, I need to get out of this marriage. I need to get out of this marriage. Not even get divorced. At this stage, I wasn't thinking of divorce. I just wanted him out of my life at this precise moment, so I can then start dealing with myself, healing myself, and helping my kids. And that's when I suggested a separation. And we separated for 6 months. But his separation, he took it as a holiday for him to drink further. And for me,
drinking vacation.
Oh, he's like, oh my God, I have nobody to nag me. I can now go and drink and come back home. And for me, it was like, please go away. You've got 6 months to think. Do you want your family or do you want the drink?
To help fix the situation.
To fix the situation.
But he used it as a
holiday.
Free time for me to drink some more.
Yes. So after 6 months, he's like, okay, 6 months are over. Can I come back home? And my daughter was going through 11 plus exams now, because this has gone over years of me trying to help him and whatnot. And initially I said no, but my parents said, look, he wants to give up. He wants to come home. We'll support you with the AA meetings. Let him come home. By this time, he's gone to 2 rehabs. We've paid £7,000.
2 rehabs?
2 rehabs. £7,000 for one, £10,000 for another. Remortgage the house. 17,000.
Remortgaging the house.
Yes.
And he still continued to drink.
Yeah, he's still continuing to drink.
Wow.
They only, unless they want to give up, will they give up. When they reach rock bottom, then they may be able to come out of it. It's very hard for them to come out of an addiction. Very, very hard. They need all the support. They need all the help. And I was the only one helping and supporting him. His family was not there. If you're addicted to something and you have a full group of family, friends supporting you, there's a very high chance you can come out of it. But you yourself need to know that I want to come out of this.
You need to know that I have an addiction. I'm addicted to something.
I'm addicted to this, and I need to come out of this. And you need to have that strong why. His strong why could have been my kids. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got my kids. I've got a house. I've got my car. What more do I need in my life? He had a strong why.
Did he lose all the strong whys, including the house?
Yes, he lost everything.
He lost the house?
He lost the house. He lost the house because initially, eventually once we separated again, after he came back, after the 6 months he came back, and then it became worse. The physical abuse and everything became more, and so I said, now you need to definitely move out further. And then after another year, I then filed for divorce.
When you say physical abuse became worse?
So that's when the remote thing happened, and the pooping on the stairs, in his pants, everything sort of increased further now.
And you had to be the one to be cleaning?
I had to be the one cleaning, and he just leave it there for me to wash. I had to give up my bedroom to go into another room because he said, this is my bedroom and I'm going to sleep here. And I could not tolerate that smell, because now the pores are starting to give out the smell of alcohol. It's not just him, it's not his clothes. The skin is now starting to give out the smell of alcohol. The odor of alcohol. The whole house is smelling of alcohol all day long. And he just doesn't want to know you. He wakes up at 5 in the morning to drink, 2 o'clock still drinking, 3-4 hours of sleep, and just sleeping wherever, and not worried about the kids, not worried about you, not worried about the money.
And then you lost the house.
No, so we didn't lose the house. So this is when he lost, as in I went for the divorce.
Okay.
And at this stage, I thought, you know, maybe I need to just fight for the house so that when the girls are 18, we can both have 50-50 of it.
Okay.
That is how my battle of the divorce started. Because I wanted to be very justful towards him as well. Because I've loved this person. I've been with him 18 years. I didn't want to just take anything from him.
Yeah.
I wanted him to have something. And he said, no, you can't have the house. I want it because I paid a bit towards it initially earlier, and because I hadn't been working, so he assumed that because I hadn't been working, the mortgage was going from his salary, so it's his house. So then the battle began of me then going to a solicitor and trying to find out what I can do. And he said, no, you have an alcoholic husband, you're going to give him half the house or even the whole house, he's going to drink it away. And you've got 2 girls to bring up, and this is their inheritance.
He will not be able to keep up with the payments of the mortgage because he's busy using the payments for other things.
£900 a month on drinking and smoking.
£900 a month on
a
what?
month on drinking and smoking.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of money. But like I said, you know, if there's a person going towards addiction and you recognize those signs, there's so many groups out there who can help you with addiction.
Yeah.
There's BDAS, there's Alcoholic Anonymous, there's so many groups which can help you. But you need to address it sooner rather than later, because later is too late.
Yeah.
And there's so many groups. I myself am going to start a global community where I'm going to be helping families of who have been affected by alcoholism or addiction. So if anybody needs that kind of help, I will be
coaching service as well.
And my coaching services, where I will be helping support those people who want to come out of abusive relationship or alcoholism, and they want to go towards divorce, and they don't know how to fill those forms or where to go and look for the information, because I knocked every door, gingerbread man, Sangam, everywhere, and I didn't get the help I needed. So I really want to help those people who are struggling, because I struggled at that time and I didn't find any help.
And how did you cope with the whole, I know you explained that you went to seek advice, you went to solicitors in order to get a share of the house, but the whole process of divorce, because divorce is one of those things that it can really destroy someone and destroy a household.
It is the most traumatic thing you can ever go through. So not only was I dealing with an alcoholic, I was dealing with a divorce. So at that stage, I didn't have money because I wasn't working. I had to leave working because of my younger daughter being with a medical condition. Nobody wanted to look after her. I had no money. I was getting child tax credit and disability living allowance. All the doors I knocked on, and they said, are you working? And I said, no, sorry, we cannot help you. Sorry, we cannot help you. But I said, I'm getting child tax credit. I'm getting carer's allowance. We don't recognize that.
It's not that you chose not to work. You were not working because there was no one available to look after the
the younger one. And then I started voluntary services.
Yeah.
The thing about depression and whatnot is when you go and help other people, your depression starts going slowly. So the things to do when you're depressed is help others, to go for walk, physical exercises, sunshine, whatnot. So when I went to do this voluntary work in a charity to help other people who are not in a good place, they suggested a solicitor which would give me a package deal.
Okay,
I went to them and they gave it to me for £1,000, and I thought, okay, £1,000, I'll go and borrow from friends, family. That's what I'd done. Unfortunately for me, they moved to Manchester 2 weeks before my court hearing.
Wow.
So everything which can possibly go wrong went wrong at that time. So I had to get the papers from them. By this time now, I'd started working because it's taken so long to even fill out the forms and do the whole thing, Form E, whatnot.
Months, a year? How long?
My whole divorce took 2 years. It's a long, lengthy process. It takes up so much money. It takes up so much time. It's so stressful. So if anybody needs any help, and that's what I'm going to create, this coaching sessions, this global community where if you need help in filling all these forms or to look for the right direction to go towards the divorce, please contact me and I will be able to help you in whatever way I can.
And after the divorce process, and you now doing voluntary work, how long would you say you dealt with the whole depression and coming out of it?
Depression is not something you can just come out of, you snap out of it and it just goes. It takes a long time, but you need to recognize the signs of depression where you start feeling low, you don't want to mix with your friends, you don't want to go out, you just want to maybe sleep the whole day. Maybe your eating habits are changing drastically. You want to eat too much, you're eating too little. Your sleeping habits are changing, where you're sleeping too little or too much.
Yeah.
You need to recognize these signs and think something's not right here.
Yeah.
And you need to address it.
Definitely.
So the best way to do is it's not an illness, and you shouldn't be ashamed to tell people you're depressed, because if you address it, there are people who can come and help you, your friends, your family. If you keep it within yourself, nobody is going to recognize the symptoms. They're just going to think you're lazy.
Because people live with depression nowadays.
People live with depression, and it needs to be recognized. It's a mental disorder. There's something wrong, chemical disorder in your brain. It's because your brain wants to shut down and not be able to cope with these things. If you tell your family, your friends, and you hopefully have all these people surrounding you who want to help you, and the simple steps you can take are going for walks.
Did you seek any help apart from the simple steps?
I did seek help, because you totally need to seek help. I went for counseling.
Yeah.
And it helped me a lot. You need to find the right counselor who you can connect with, and they will help you find your own solutions. They will not give you a solution. They will help you to find the solution within yourself, and you will come up with a solution. And just listening to simple music, going for walks, your friends supporting you, helping you. It's not about texting somebody and you think, oh yeah, I'm connecting with my friend.
Yeah.
It needs to be physical connection, where somebody's coming to your house and you're talking to them face to face. In the olden times, why did people not get depressed as much as now? People used to go out and do physical labor, digging, whatever. So physical labor, physical activity helps a lot. So whether you want to go walking, running, jogging, whatever, maybe those are two major. So simple brisk walk, fresh air, sunshine, all those are little steps you can take to helping towards depression. But recognizing it is the first thing, and do not be scared to tell people you're depressed, because at least then they know you're not lazy. You're dealing with something, and they will be happy to help you, I think. Because these days lots of people are recognizing that this depression is not something you are causing it. It's something that is just happening within your body, and it needs to be dealt with slowly. And it takes a while. It took me, I would say, 2 to 3 years to come out of it, but slowly. But initially, after the counseling, the process became faster.
Yes, I recall when we spoke, you said 5 years within the process of everything.
Everything.
So 5 years ago,
yes,
you were not who you are, who
I
you
was
see today.
I was not who you see today. And today who you see is somebody different. And like I mentioned to you, I've been through a beauty pageant, and I took part in it in January.
Yeah.
I was a runner-up on the beauty pageant, and 5 years ago, 5 years ago, I was a depressed person struggling to go through a divorce, living with an alcoholic, 2 kids, and I've got beautiful kids. They're really good, and they have suffered the consequence of all this, because addiction is not just the person suffering; the whole family suffers because of the addiction.
And now you're at a very good place, better place.
I'm at a very good place.
And the children are happy.
My children are happy. I am very thankful to God that I made the decision of going for the divorce, because...
And your ex-husband, how you in contact with him?
He's not working anymore. He's drinking crazily.
He's still drinking until now?
Yeah, he doesn't want to see the kids, because drink is the first priority at the moment. So the kids would love to see him, but he doesn't want to see them at all.
So despite spending 7,000 and then 10,000, or total 17,000, and getting close to losing everything, including your house and everything, until now he's still drinking. He
is still drinking till now, and we lost all our family and friends. It took me 3 years to start even gathering new friends. I had lost all my friends except 1 or 2. It's one particular friend who helped me through thick and thin. If I ring at 12 o'clock at night, she's there for me. You need friends to support you through all this, really. But you start losing family and friends when you're with a partner who's addictive and they start verbally abusing your friends and family. You start losing contact with all these people. But don't be scared to address these things, and address them sooner, really sooner rather than later. Yeah, addiction, depressions, these are all things you need to recognize and address very quickly.
What advice would you give to the viewers who are currently watching us now, in terms of those who are probably addicted to alcohol, shopping, anything like that, or in terms of those who are currently dealing with divorce, and they don't know how to go about it. What advice would you give to those watching for them to know how to go through this?
So when the word divorce comes into your mind, you already sort of know that something's not right in your marriage, and that's the first sign to recognize that you're heading towards a divorce.
Yeah.
And you need to start thinking, why is it? Is it something you can sort out in your marriage?
Yeah.
If not, is it affecting your kids, your family? And if it is, and it's drastically affecting your family, your kids, you need to find a solution to start getting out of it sooner rather than later. Some people, most of the people, belie to themselves that I'm staying in this marriage because of my kids. I did that. I want to stay in this marriage because of my kids. Or my husband's an alcoholic. It's okay. At least I have the man in the house. He's a dad to my girls. At least he's still there. No. You're lying to yourself, because they are getting affected by all the arguments. They are getting affected by seeing an alcoholic living in that house. And he's a role model to your kids. Is that what you want? You need to get out of there. You need to seek help. You need to start getting out of this. So for the alcoholics, I said there's Alcoholic Anonymous, there's BDAS for people who are using drugs and stuff like that.
What are the signs that you probably picked up on the signs?
For the
alcoholic?
I didn't. This is the thing, you know, because you are in denial yourself. When you're a partner, your friends start telling you your husband is drinking too much, or your partner is drinking too much. They're losing weight. So for alcohol, they start reducing to eat. Mm-hmm. For drugs, it could be something different. So I'm not too familiar with that. But for alcohol, definitely their appetite starts reducing. They start losing weight. They start becoming verbally abusive to people around you. Mm-hmm. And those are the signs to recognize, and you need to start dealing with them. If the person wants to be helped, there's a lot you can do. But if the person doesn't want to be helped, there's very little you can do to help them, and you need to find a solution for yourself and for your kids to come out of this, because there's no other solution.
Thank you very much. Thank you for those last words of advice, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed
today. And for those of you who are watching, we mentioned earlier, it is the struggle of addiction and depression. Her husband was an alcoholic. He became abusive physically and verbally. This affected her household, affected her children physically and mentally, which meant that she went into depression. But like I said before, which she mentioned herself, self-help is the key. You may seek help elsewhere, you may speak to friends, you may go through counseling, but you yourself, you need to accept the fact that you need help to step out of that depression. You need to accept the fact that you need help, that I am addicted to something. I have an addiction. If it's shopping, it's eating, it's gambling, if it's alcohol and drugs, you need to know that you need to stop what you're doing, because you are no longer in control. It is now in control of you. Before in the show, I said, as I end the show, I will give you a contact number for you to call. Please feel free to go to the UK website, which is Addiction Helpers, which is www.addictionhelpers.com. It's free advice, free NHS advice. It helps you and it tells you what to do and how you can come out of it. It's anonymous. No one's going to out you. No one's going to say who you are and what it is that you're getting up to. It's totally free. NHS GP advice as well. You can call the number there as well. It's a free number. You can chat to them online. You can have a free chat, arrange to meet up with someone. It's totally free in order to help you. There is also a Samaritan's number that you can call, which is 116-123. I repeat, 116-123 is completely anonymous for you to go ahead and seek help to come out of what it is that you are addicted to. I'm Marlene Mayele. Thank you very much for watching the show, and I will see you here same time next week. Goodbye.